Java-based library. So I'll share my screen soon right now. Excuse me. Can you all see my screen, please?
Yes,
Yeah,
please.
yes,
We
please.
can see.
Okay. So we will just dive into the basics of rest assured. And since every one of us, I hope that every one of us are familiar with Java way of coding, like the way you write your code in Java language. So rest assured is a Java-based specific language, is a specific language for testing REST API, and is very, very easy. It's eliminating for writing complex boilerplate code. So wherever you have a project or you have an API you want to test, you are very sure you can use rest assured in Java. So right now, I'm sure that you are familiar with the key concepts such as the HTTP methods. We have the get, which is to retrieve the data. We also have the post, which is to create new resources. We have the put, which is to use to update existing resources. We also have patch also, which is used to update specific properties of an existing resources also. We also have the delete, which is used to remove resources or delete resources. So before we start, I don't know if we are familiar or we are familiar with IntelliJ. Are we all familiar with IntelliJ? Like IntelliJ is an editing where you code your JavaScript based language in. So IntelliJ, we have the community version and we have the premium version. So, but now because it's a basic concept we are dealing with, we'll be working with the community version, which I'm going to create the package. So right now we have, for us that we are not familiar with IntelliJ, we can just go to their website and download the community version. Are we all familiar with IntelliJ?
Yes, please.
Okay, cool. So if you're familiar with IntelliJ, we can open our laptop PC so that we can start the project. So right now we'll be creating a new file, a new project.
Hello, sorry, good evening.
Good evening. Oh, David,
Sorry,
good evening.
Boyinde said he's familiar, maybe because he did Java. For we that did Python, so we're not familiar with
Okay.
IntelliJ. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Okay, all right. Okay, David, since you are not familiar with IntelliJ, so we have IntelliJ, which is also one of the products of JetBrains. So you can go to jetbrains.com to download IntelliJ. And I'm sure since you're familiar with Python, you've also worked with most of their applications like PyCharm, right?
Yes, by chance.
Cool. Yeah, so you can go to their website. You will say what's it called, IntelliJ, and we have the IDE for professional development in Java. So you can you go to the download. We have when you come to this page, we have the what's it called, IntelliJ Ultimate. That's the premium, and we have the community version here. Yeah, we can go ahead and download the community version. So when you download the community version, you can install it. Excuse me. You can install it. After the installation, you can now come to this page here. Let me close this. Excuse me. So you have something like this on your desktop or any place you downloaded your IntelliJ IDE. Excuse me. So you come to this place where you have the icon for your IntelliJ IDE community. Make sure it's the community version you download. If you download the ultimate is the premium version. After 30 days, you have to retry again and subscribe. But for the community version, you are liable to have access to most of the components we'll be working with tonight. So for this aspect, we'll be using the IntelliJ IDE community version. So now I'm going to open the application newly, and this is what it comes up. So right now we are going to create a new project. And you will see these tabs up here, or you can have it down here also or by the side. But I have my own up here. We open the file, we go to the new, and we go to the project. So we have a modal popped up. For the modal that is popped up, we have the new project, we have empty project, and we have the generators. The generators is which kind of package you want to use. That is, we have the Maven archetype, we have the Java FX, we have the Kotlin, we have Compose multi-platform. But we'll be making use of what's it called, just plain new projects, right? I will create a project which is going to be rest assured project, right? And our location, you can choose a location based on what you want. You can choose the location either in your documents, in any folder. But I'll be going with what's it called, the IDE project. That's where I want the location of my folder I want to create. And you can also create a Git repository. I'm not creating a Git repository, but then we have the language, what's it called, set here. We can choose the language, and we are using Java. We want to test in it, what's it called, rest assured is a Java library. So we want to test in Java. So I'm going to go ahead and choose Java. This thing keeps popping up. Okay. So we have the build system. We have IntelliJ build system. Build system is what's it called, the package that makes your application run, or that changes your application from the normal coding language you are coding into the machine code. So we are using the build system, and the build system we are using is Maven. We are not using IntelliJ, and we are not using Gradle for now. So we are using Maven because it's a basic library we want to work on. Yes.
Hello, ma'am.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just trying to ask, the tempo, I don't know, can you help us take it a little slower? Maybe there's some people that might try
Okay.
along as you're creating all that. Or unless you don't want us to start on day one, maybe we can leave it to day two. I don't know. But I think it's from my own end.
Okay. I guess what's it called? Should I continue, or should I just start from the beginning?
No, maybe you could just help us
increase your screen a bit, kind of tiny.
I can hear you
From
guys.
the beginning.
Okay.
Please kindly start from the beginning. Thank you.
Okay, so let's all start from the beginning. So as I was saying, we are going to look at rest assured, right? So I said for us to be able to work with rest assured is a Java-based library, is a domain Java-based library. So for us to work with it, we have several IDEs. We have Eclipse. If you are working with Python or JavaScript, you are familiar with Visual Studio Code, right? But for Java, what's it called? There are specific IDEs that you work so that you can get optimum. I don't know if you can hear me, but can you all hear me very well?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Cool. So you
Yes,
can
we can
get,
hear you.
cool. So for you to be able to get optimum Java implementation of your project or anything in Java language, we have IDEs or editors that developers that code in Java uses. So for what I prefer myself is IntelliJ IDE. There is also another platform, Eclipse. Eclipse doesn't use IntelliSense. And what do I mean by IntelliSense? IntelliSense is that, what's it called? It does not give you options for you to choose from, like automatic options. But IDE, IntelliJ IDE, gives you option. That's why I'm using IntelliJ IDE. And I want to use IntelliJ IDE for this project we are working on. So for this project we are working on, I said we can come to JetBrains. JetBrains are the one giving us this kind of IDE for us to be able to use for seamless operation or for easy operation. And if you are familiar with Python, I know that you are familiar with PyCharm. And if you are familiar with JavaScript, I know you are familiar with WebStorm or Visual Studio Code. But for Java, we have something we call IntelliJ IDE, and we have the ultimate version, we have the community version. But we are going with the community version because community version give you the basics and also give you the access for IntelliSense. But it might not give you the most premium aspects, but you are able to use it for what you want to use it today or tonight, which is rest assured project. So for you to be able to start or to follow along, you have to download this IntelliJ IDE. So when you click on the button, it will automatically download it for you and come here and start downloading wherever the way it's going to show in your your Windows. So after the application has been downloaded, we come to the icon or wherever you download it and you open it. So now it's coming up. So after it has come up, we are going to create a new project. In Java, in IntelliJ, we call it project. Even in Eclipse also, which is another IDE for coding in Java, is also called project. So yeah, we are going to create a new project, and our project is based on REST assured. So right now, I'm going to the file. We have the tabs here, and I go to the file, I go to the new, I go to the project. So when I click on the project, I have a modal popped up. And in the modal, we have the new project, we have the empty project. After the modal, we have generators, right? For in this generator, we have generators means what's it called? Packages or the kind of package you want to work on. You want to work on Maven archetype. You want to work on Java FX. You want to work on Kotlin. You want to work on Compose. You want to work on IDE plugin, any IDE plugin you want to bring in, or do you want to work on Android? But we are not doing that. We just want to work on an empty project. So we are not using generators today. So right now we are in the new project. We are going to give the name, and the name is going to be called REST project. And we have the location. Where do you want your folder to be saved? Either in the documents, we have this little icon here where you can choose wherever you want your folder to be saved in the ID project. You can also create your Git repository if you are going to push to GitHub or GitLab or through Bitbucket.
Sorry, excuse me.
Okay.
Please, can you share the link to download the Mediant ID in the chat?
Okay.
Thank
Okay.
you.
I'll do
So
that
we can
now.
follow you.
Okay. Let me share the link here. Okay. So I'll share the link for the application download for ID. So yeah, we're in the location. After the location, you can create Git repository for you to be able to push either to the GitHub, to GitLab, or to Bitbucket or anything. We also have the language. Which language are we working with? Are we working with Kotlin, Groovy, HTML? But we are working with REST assured. And I told you when I started that REST assured is a Java-based package. So we are working with Java. And we also have the build system. In JavaScript, if you have worked with JavaScript have what it calls packages. And in Python also, we also have what we call packages. But in Java, we have build system. Build system is what makes your project or the application you want to run to be able to run seamlessly or easily. So for this project, we are going to be using Maven. We are not using Gradle. Maven makes your project for REST assured run easily. But we have three options here. We have the IntelliJ, we have the Maven, and the Gradle. But I'm going with Maven because that's what we want to use for REST assured project today. And we have the JDK. That this JDK is the version of Java I'm using for this application. So right now we have to click on this add sample code and generate code with onboarding tips. And this, when I click on the create button, it's going to create it for me. So here is an example of the file we've created. You can see the REST project here. You can see the IDE package here. You can also see the SRC. The SRC is where all your projects are going to be. So we have the SRC, we have the main folder. In the main folder, we have the Java folder. In the Java folder, we also have the package, the org.example, that is where whatever you want to build is going to stay. So we have the main.java. The main.java is where the output or where your code is going to run, the output of your code. So here we have the public class. For those that are not familiar with Java, but you are familiar with classes in the other aspect of programming. I'm sure that in JavaScript, you are familiar with classes. In Python, you're also familiar with classes. So here in Java, we have to declare everything explicitly. That is, it has a strict typing way of declaring things. So right now we have the public class main. The public class main means the place where you start your code, the main entrance of your code. When you click on this little green button now, it's going to run the code run. And it will show in the terminal. Excuse me. You can see it's a system printer. So it looked through whatever is there and it was able to print it out. So we have the method also. We have the method. The method is public static void main. And this method is declaring that this method is directly for this class. It's for the main class, which takes in string of arguments. This string is what's it called? A declaration. That's a declaration in Java, string, and we have the args. We also have the system.out.printf, that is going to print this thing to the terminal, just similar to your JavaScript where you console log, or similar to your Python where you print something to your terminal. I guess what's it called? With these few points of mine, I'm able to make myself clear what we are going to do with rest assured. Are you clear about what I'm saying? What I've been saying since? Sorry, excuse me. Do you have any question?
No question for now.
Okay, cool.
None from my
So what we are going to do now is rest assured. So we are going to the test package here. And in this test package, before we go to the test package, we go to the POM. I'm sure that in JavaScript, you always do npm install or npm install any packages. So also in Python also. But here in Java, we are going to copy the link of what we want to install, and it is going to install it automatically for us. And that's one of the benefits of IntelliJ. IntelliJ give you easy access for you to be able to install whatever you want to install in your application. So right now, we are going to rest assured. And here in rest assured, we have their documentation here. But where we are going, because we are using Maven as our build system, we are going to go to the Maven Central. Here in the Maven Central, we have the rest assured here. We have the dependency. We put the dependency in the pom.xml. Yeah. But before we do that, we are going to declare something here. And we click on it, dependencies. And this is where we are going to paste all our dependencies we are going to use here. So I'm going to copy this Apache Maven dependency for rest assured. We have the group ID, that is io.restassured. We have the artifact ID, that is rest assured. We also have the version, and here we are in the version 5.5.1. So here I'm going to copy it and paste it here. I don't know if you can see what I'm saying here. Excuse me.
Can you please increase your screen?
Just
Is
a
it
minute.
possible?
Wait, I will do it now. Just a minute. Can you see it right now?
Yes, you
Hello.
can see it now. It's better
Okay,
now.
cool. So right now, I've pasted the rest assured dependency here inside the dependencies declaration here. So right now I'm going to install it. If you don't have this little pop-up here, this is the problem now. If you don't have this little pop-up here, excuse me, let me exit this. If you don't have this thing here, You can let me exit this thing. Exit presentation. There's something here. There's something called Maven here, where you can go and run this little icon. Can you see the icon here? Hello?
Yes, we can.
Okay, cool.
Yes, we
Yes, we
can see
can.
it.
Yeah, so if you don't have this little icon pop up here, you can go to something here called Maven. We have notifications and we have Maven. So you will click on this Maven, on this reload. When you click on reload, you see this pop up, this little icon. If it's not coming up, it doesn't matter. But when you click on reload, it's going to install this rest assured automatically into your application. So rest assured is not the only thing we are going to work with. We are also going to work with TestNG. TestNG allows easy use of what's it called, assertions, because there's no way you want to run your API testing that you will not assert. You have to assert if this is equal to the status code you want. You have to assert if this is equal to the response you want. You also have to assert if this is equal to the millisecond or the time this API you want to run is running according to the time you want. So right now we are going to go to what's it called, to Maven. We've already installed our rest assure. So yeah, we are going to search for Maven for tests ng, excuse me.
I can't hear again.
I don't know, maybe the
Just
network
took,
is from
she
my
took
end.
permission now.
Yes, I should.
Join us.
Thank you. I was about saying that. Thank you.
Hey, I'm so sorry. Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, we
Hello?
can
Yes,
hear you.
Can hear
Yes.
you.
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, sorry for the short break in transmission. So right now I'm in Maven repository and I want to search for testng, org.testng. So right now, after searching for testng to bring out these results, well, we are going to use the first one, because it has the 12,000 usages. So we click on this and you will see something like this, right? So you will click on this right here and we have testng 7.11. So yeah, we are going to double tap on this and we copy it. And we come to our application here. After this dependency, we place it here. And we see another little pop-up thing stressing me out. And before I went off, I told you that if you don't see this pop-up, you can go to this Maven. So I want to increase the view of this screen so that you can all see it. So you will see this little pop-up here. You click on it again. So it automatically installs TestNG for you. And then we also have another application we want to use again. And this application is JSON application for us to be able to read our JSON file beautifully or prettily. In JavaScript, we have something we call prettier, or ESLint, but here we are going to use org.json to be able to present our JSON file beautifully. So we also go to the Maven repository, we search for JSON, or we search for org.json, excuse me. And we go to the first one, the one with the most usage. We click on it. And we click on the latest. So after clicking on the latest, we double click, excuse me, we double click on it and we copy it down to our project here. And here we have all the packages you are going to use. And as I said before, that rest assured is what we are going to base our topic on. Why this test engine is what is going to make us to be able to assert whatever we want to assert in our test. Why JSON is going to give us our JSON file beautifully. So now that we are done, I have to exit this. So yeah, we are done with the project. Excuse me. So in our file, we have the test file here. We have the test folder here. We're going to create a project here. We're going to create a new folder.
I think it's from the package, then creative folder.
Wait, you said something?
Yeah, do you want creative package or will
Yes, we are going to the package. So I'm going to create, what's it called? We have the SRC here. And we have the test. So we are going to create a new file. You're supposed to create a new file in this test, but it's not coming up. I don't know why. Okay, cool. So we have our Java here. I wanted to create a Java package, but it has already been created for us here. So in the Java package, you are going to create another package called config. This config is where our configuration file is going to be. And what I mean by configuration file is, what's it called? Let's create a new Java class. We have a test config. So here we have a new Java class, public class test config. It automatically creates it for us. So yeah, the reason why I'm creating this test config is for us to be able to configure our REST assured test file. So here is where we are going to have all the base URL, the application authentication keys, whatever env you want to add to it. This is where it's going to stay. So yeah, we are going to be using the JSON placeholder. Excuse me. So I know we are familiar with this API, and it's a LoadDB API where we are able to use the JSON placeholder. So I'm going to be copying this placeholder, this application, sorry, this URL. And this URL, I'm going to create a method. Don't worry, I'll be explaining what all this means in a while. So I will declare a string, declare a variable, JSON placeholder base URL equals to. So what I did there was to declare a method in a class. And as I said before,
It's not supposed to be just in placeholder.
oh, sorry, yeah, you're right. Placeholder. Okay. Is all good, right? So yeah, as I
Yes.
said before, okay, cool. So as I said before, when we started the class, I was talking about classes method in Java. For you to be able to use rest assured is a Java-based language library or framework. So this framework is going to use class. We are going to declare class. We are going to declare method. Yeah, when I created a file here, when you go to your IDE, right, and you come to test, it already has this Java package. And in this Java package, I created a new package here. This package is called config. This is where all our configuration file or folder or method is going to stay. And what did I mean by configuration method or folder or anything? This configuration method are your base URL because you don't want to be declaring everything all over the place. You don't want to be declaring your URL in your test folder. No. So you have to have a configuration class or a configuration file. Sorry, keep on saying file. Configuration file where you are going to declare your URI. You're going to declare your authentication, variables. You're going to declare anything you want to use in your test folder. So here in this configuration package, I declare a file called test config. And inside test config, right, we have the class. We have the class test configuration, that is test config. And inside this class, we are going to declare a method. This method is going to take in the public. Public means it's available everywhere. Anything can access it. Anything can have access to it. That's what public means. And we also have static. Static means what's it called? It is only particular to this class. It is a class method. It is not an object method. I don't know if you are coming from Java, you are coming from JavaScript, you are coming from Python or C# or something. All these languages are OOP languages, right? So you should be familiar with static, like something that is, what's it called? Available to only the class or the object. And we also have final. Final is like const in JavaScript. Cool. So final is like const in JavaScript. That is, this thing cannot be changed. This is a URL that we know we want to access, so it cannot be changed. So that's why we declare it as final. And we also have string. I told you that Java is very strict in typing. You have to declare. You don't just declare like, in JavaScript we have let. I'm comparing with JavaScript because we have people that are familiar with JavaScript. So you don't just declare like, oh, let this, or you declare like Python where you just say, okay, this is a variable cop, and the variable has what I know. But in Java, we have to declare it like, this is a cop. Is the cop a string? Is the cop a int? Is the cop a long? Is the cop a small hint? So now here we are specifically declaring it. We are declaring, this is a declaration here. We are declaring that this is a JSON placeholder base URL. And this JSON placeholder base URL is a string. It is a string because it is a URL that we are going to access as a string. So that's why I declare it like string JSON placeholder underscore base underscore URI equals to this URL that we are going to access later. Since you are not going to use any authentication key or anything, we don't need to declare any other variable. So this is how you start declaring your config file. If you want to add more, you can also add more. You can add your, what's it called? You can add, if you have any authorization header, or you have a key that you want to add to it, you can also declare it like this. You will declare public, you will declare static, you will declare final, you will declare it as a string because it is a key. It's a key string that needs to be added to your configuration file. I hope I'm clear. There's no question, right? Any question?
Okay, sorry, please. Is it also that one? Is it also, can we also use void for it?
What do you say, please? Can you repeat yourself?
And the final, can we also use void, like public static void?
Void. No, we can't use void for it. We can use void for it. We just have to use final because it cannot be changed. We don't want it to change. If we use void, what's it called? That means we are PSVM. We are going to be declaring a method that we have to emit something. And we don't want to emit anything here. We don't want to print anything out. We don't want it to, what's it called? Be printed out. We want something that want to be used in another file. So that's why I call it a configuration file.
Okay, thank you.
That's, yeah. So any other question, please? Please ask question. Anything, I'm ready to take it up there. So am I good to go now? So yeah, after the config file, after the config folder, you're also going to create another folder. And this folder is going to be called utils or utility. So yeah, in your Java, you come to your Java, you go to the new, I will come to the package, and we can create something called utils. Your package should be in small letter. So you write utils or utility. Now we have your package here. In the package, you are going to create a new Java file. I am going to call it test utility, right? So in this test utility, we are going to create what are the responses we are expecting from our API testing. You know, we are doing API testing with Rest Assured. So what are we expecting? You know, when you go to your Postman, I don't want to open Postman right now because all of us we are familiar with Postman. When you go to your Postman and you send a request, excuse me, let me try and do this. Now we are in our Java, we are in JSON. Let me use request here. So here in our request page, we send a request to get something. This is the response. But when you inspect and you go to the network, try and run it again, you will get status. You will get the size. You will get the time. So this is what we are expecting from our API. We want the status. If possible, we want the document type. If possible, we want the initiator, but we don't have any initiator. The initiator means what is the authorization you're sending. If it's a signing document or a signing page, you know, it will require something to trigger it, like the email of the user or the email of or the password of the user. But this one is just a simple GET request. So yeah, we have the status, we have the type, we have the size, we have the time. These are what we are expecting from the API. So yeah, the reason why I created the utils here is that I want to frame what I'm expecting. That is, I want to frame the response. I want to frame the response time. And I want it to be able to give me this thing in a JSON format prettily, not scattered. I don't want it to be scattered, similar to what we always do in Postman. You know, in Postman, when we send our request, it will give us these things in a very cool format where we are able to, where it is readable to anybody that wants to access our documentation. So yeah, we have created a class called test utility. We are also going to create methods. And this method, the first method we are going to create now is going to be a public static void. Now this is where we are going to use void. So yeah, we are going to create public static void. Excuse me, pardon my English. So we are going to create public static void. And this is equals to, sorry, before we do that, excuse me, verify. So we declare the public static void, and we are going to declare a variable called, we want to verify the status code. So that's the number one thing we want to do. We want to verify the status code. So we're going to write verify status code. And we are going to create our method or function, if you are familiar with function. So we are creating our method here. So in our method, we are going to bring in response from rest assured. Can you see this thing I'm pointing to in the cursor?
Yes, I can see that.
Okay. Okay, excuse me. Let me try and zoom in for people that can see. Okay, cool. So we have response from rest assured. So we've declared a response. Our response is an interface. If you come into this place, we have the response, which is an interface that extends from a class, the response body. So this is from rest assured. So we are declaring it as our declaration here, response. So this response is a variable here. After declaring a response, we are also going to declare the integer. We are going to declare an integer. The reason why we are declaring an integer is because our status code is an integer. We have 200, we have 500, we have 400, we have 403, anything. We have teacup, which is a 306 or anything. So we are declaring our integer also because that's the response we are expecting for it to emit. So yeah, I'm going to declare a response here. Integer, excuse me, expected status code. Now we've declared a method here. And in our method, we are going to declare a variable. And this variable is going to be an integer also, which is going to be the actual status code equals to response, this response here, which is in the parameter that we declared here. It's going to come here, and we are going to access it. Remember, because we declared this response relation to this interface response from rest assured, we can access it. So what I mean by access is because it's an interface that is extended from a class. So we have full access to access the method in that interface. I don't know if I'm clear, but if you have any question, you can just throw it at me. So yeah, I'm going to access the response here. And what we are accessing is get status code, which is an integer here. That's already bring out the model. So we click on it and we get the status code and we end the statement with a colon, with a semicolon. So we enter a new line. Now this is where we are now going to use test ng. We are going to assert. And you can see from the model is bringing assert from org.testng. So we click on it, we assert, and we also have access to for our assert. So in this assert, we are going to access assert equals is what we are expecting an actual status code. And what we expect, is it also the same thing? That's why I told you that in testng, it gives us the ability to be able to use the assertions. So what I mean by assertion is, okay, you expect status code 200, but is the result also 200? So that's what we meant by assertion. So what we are going to use is assert equals. And you can see it here, int is actual, int is expected. That is, the int is the actual 200 status code we see. Is it also similar to the expected 200 code we put in our test file? So yeah, I'm going to click on it. Now it is already emitting a red because it expects us to bring in something parameter we are going to use. So in this place, we are going to take in this actual status code here, followed by this expected status code from this parameter that we declared. So yeah, we are saying expected. We are going to declare a message that is going to take in. Can you all see my ID?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So we are going to take a message here. The message is going to be expected status code. And we're going to state we expect the expected status code here, followed by.
Sorry, your code, CODE.
Your code is not complete.
Oh, okay. So the actual status code is declared here, and the expected status code is here. So we declare a message that expected status code should be expected status code. But if it is not, we are going to have a string that but got this actual sorry, I didn't concatenate it, but got this actual status code. So this is how we assert in Java. So this is our first assertion. So not to rush things, we want to print it to the terminal. If you want to print it to the terminal, you're going to come after this declaration here and say system dot out dot print new line status code actual status code. So now this is for our test utility in the utils. We'll be doing it step by step. So yeah, I'm going to go to this Java again and create a new package. And this package is going to call test. This is where all the tests you are going to run is going to be. That is the main file of our test. So yeah, in test, we are going to create test. In test, we are going to create a Java class, JSON placeholder. So yeah, after our JSON placeholder, if or you are familiar with declaring a class, you are going to declare a method public, excuse me, P7. And we're going to call it so we have annotations in rest assured. So we are going to declare annotations here. Annotations is what makes your entry point easy for you to be able to run your test. So yeah, I'm going to declare a before class. And what did I mean by a before class? That is, let me declare it first. We have the before class here. Before class means this method have to run first before any other method. That's what before class means. That is, when the class has run, this first method have to run before any other method. That's why we are declaring this annotation. That's why we are declaring this annotation. So after this, we are going to declare, I've already declared public static void. But since we are calling our base URL, I'm going to change it here to void. Let's change it to setup. This is a method called setup. And this method is going to run before any other method we declare. So here we have the rest assured dot the base URL equals to test config want to call this test config. So you can see it as import this config file here. So in this test config, we are going to access the file we declared there, the method we declared there, the JSON placeholder base URL. So we are going to say dot this, and we end the statement with semicolon. So after that, We are going to do our first test here, which is going to get methods. So we are also going to use another annotation from TestNG, which is at test. And after declaring this annotation, we are going to declare public void. We want to get all posts. So yeah, we are going to use the response from rest assured, and we access it. Call it, we declare the response here. After declaring the response, we say is equals to rest assured dot given. So rest assured runs on BDD. And what did I mean by BDD? BDD is behavior driven development. That is, this rest assured is behavior driven. Everybody, I know that we are familiar with all aspects of testing. So everybody, developer, stakeholders, testers, are all familiar with this test because it is very easy. That is, you have the giving, you have the when, you have the then, and you have the get. So for instance, now we have rest assured dot given, that is giving this empty parameter, because we are accessing get URL. Get method. So we have the giving this empty parameter. When it is also empty, there's nothing you are sending to it. It's an empty request because it's a get method. We have to get this from this URL. That is get, excuse me. So here we go here. Posts. We are going to get this post. We want to get this JSON file. So we dot get and we enter this here in a string. Make sure it's a string and we place this here. So we have the post and we end it with a semicolon. So now we are going to call our test utility. So we are going to say test utility dot verify status code. And this status code, we need a response. So we are going to write the response, which we declared here. Response, comma. The response we are expecting is 200. If we should inspect it here. You are expecting 200. So yeah, I'm going to write 200, which is the integer we are expecting. And you can see IntelliJ has already bring this out. Expected status code. So after that, we are going to run this. If you're in your IDE, you will see something here, the run button here, or you can run it here also, the run button here. So we are going to click on it. Run. And it's building it. Kind of slow. So you can see we have status code 200 when we are able to run it. So the expected status code is 200 and the total test run is 1 and it passes 1 and there are no failures. And this is how you start running your rest assured for API testing. Any question? Hello?
We are here.
Yes. Any question?
Please let's ask question.
Is there no question? And this is how we run the rest assured, and this is the basic for getting your response status code.
Deborah, Jerry,
So if
David, Boyinde.
Java students, good evening. Good evening, Toluwaseyi. Sorry. Java students, we're expecting you guys to be firing on all cylinders. JavaScript and Python students may not release, but the Java class, I'm expecting you guys to fire on all cylinders. Where are Java students? Thank you so much, Tolu.
yeah.
I'm very grateful. Please, if you have any questions, mostly on to those who are in the Java class also, and those who maybe previously already have knowledge of Java. I know you're seeing public static void and public final, and you're wondering, for some students who picked other options, it might not be quite clear to you because you don't have the Java foundation. But for our Java students, please, Boinde, Miribasi, Fumi, Zip Victor, all the other Java students, please ask questions should you have any. And Akim has left the class now. Wow, it is well. All right, thank you so much. So I'm guessing there are no questions.
So there's no question. I guess it's simple then. Easy.
No, I could basically relate. So I think we just to go back and go through this. But I understand some of the concepts here. So it's just to go back and practice it. So for me, no questions.
Okay. So guess we continue tomorrow and access
Sorry,
the
please. So, um, that's post SML. That's you went to a site to pick something. That was the Maven's repositories. Please,
yeah.
where did you get that from? I tried to duplicate that, but I don't know, I was lost in that part.
Okay, so I guess I sent the URL in the chat.
Yeah.
Okay, for us to be able to run rest
Yeah, I'm in this
assured,
part.
naturally we need test. For us to be able to run any test in
Okay.
Java, we need test ng. So that's why I went to this Maven repository and accessed the test engine. And maybe I will list it out here. We have excuse me, let me send. We have org.testng. That's the number one. We also have the org.json. The reason why you might not really need this JSON, but the reason why I use JSON is so that when I'm accessing any resource, it's going to give me the JSON file beautifully and not scatter. Sometimes when you access it without the JSON prettifier, it's going to scatter everything. But yeah, with the org.json, we are able to it's going to give it to us beautifully. So when you go to this Maven repository, you can just search for org.testng and it will give it to you. So those testng is necessary. If you're not using testng, you can use JUnit. But I use testng, and testng is necessary for you to be able to run any test in Java. So is that clear or is that okay?
Okay. So please, that dependencies, right? That I'm just confused about. Dependency, how you
Okay.
got dependency?
Okay. So after the test engine, I clicked on this test engine, right? And I click on the latest version. Yeah, is the latest version. So we have the Maven because we are using Maven. Yeah, it has already been automatically clicked for us. But if you are using Gradle, you can click on Gradle. You can click on any build system, but we are using Maven build system. So that's why I copy it. But after copying it, you go to the pom.xml. These dependencies statements or declaration might not be there. So you have to declare it yourself. For instance, now, excuse me. And let me just take it away. So you have to declare these dependencies. And you see, if you're using IntelliJ, it will pop up like this. So you click on it and you can start pasting any dependency you want to use. Is that clear? Is that clear? Hello?
Yes, it is.
Boyinde, where are you?
Yes,
Okay.
it is. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's how you declare your POM XML and use the packages to create your utilities, your configuration, and your test. So the thing we did today was just to access or to test our response status code for the JSON placeholder. We also have several responses we can send. We can get the time. We can also get the real resource, the JSON file for the JSON placeholder resource. So tomorrow we are going to continue with that and we generate several aspects. And if God's willing and we have time, we can also work with the authentication aspect of working with rest assured. But for now, this is what we are able to do. And I'm sure that if you have any question, you can throw it in the WhatsApp group or the what's it called? The Slack
Slack
channel.
channel.
And yes, and ask any question. So for the installation also, you can also ask, I can send you a video on how to install the IDE if you want to work with it, how to declare your variables, how to declare your classes, how to declare your method. These things are easy. When you are familiar with it and you start coding, these things will come to you easily, especially when you are using IntelliJ. IntelliJ is very good because it uses the IntelliSense for you to be able to tap on the model and get whatever you want to get. You can see that I don't need to be declaring import. As long as I know the file I want to access, I'm able to write it and it automatically brings out the import for me. So I guess this is the end of this session and we continue tomorrow.